I wasn't able to get to last week's chapter. I had a lot of schedule stuff going on, so I'm doing 2 chapters this week, which is actually very convenient for Undead Unluck. I don't know about the other series. I mean, some of them might have been not as like fast paced, but I think that in terms of the content, though, this was actually a really good set for 2 chapters because the previous one was pretty much mostly about Top and just about Top's information of his backstory, and we got like some cool moments with Chikara and stuff. But I did like Top's backstory, but there was one thing in there that it didn't bother me. I wanted just to kind of add that because I was like, I like the backstory, but it's like, no, I liked it. There was just something that I wanted to kind of focus on. And that was when he got his negator power, when he got the Unstoppable. Because so far, a lot of the guys just seem like when they get their powers, it's like super inconvenient timing that it leads to like the death of somebody that they care about and whatnot. And it's because of that coincidence that makes me think that like specifically like the idea that God in this series is actually like really sadistic, that it's like, yeah, they definitely should take this guy down if he's doing horrible stuff like this. Because I would imagine from God's perspective, the fact that like the characters, when they die eventually, they'll all restart and do it over again, they just thinks of these things all like toys and kind of like objects. Because from a greater power standpoint, if the people that you're messing with, like, you know, you have what I would assume like infinite redos of just bringing them back and being able to do it over again and do it in like different directions and stuff, you're not going to really care that much about where the results are if you know that whatever happens to them is not the permanent and like permanent thing that's going down for them and is going to like cement it with them forever. If, you know, they just have to reset everything, because that's just one of those things when you get to like that higher stage when you stop looking at you know, at people and whatnot with like normal morality. You kind of just move past that. So I guess like in terms of like a god in this case, it'd be like never probably had it to begin with, just because of like the different perspectives and whatnot and everything they're going to be seeing from like a mortal versus a god. So that still sets up right now to me for the series. Like, yeah, they gotta take this guy out because he's causing too many problems. And like I said, the conveniently bad timing would like feel so intended. Like the dude's there waiting. Like, all right, I gotta pick the most mentally scarring point in this dude's life in order to have this activate and end up screwing them over. Kind of like obviously what happened like with Shen and stuff, but. I liked his backstory in general. It just showed that Top was like a really good kid. You know, he was fine letting other people win so they can prosper in life and move ahead. I mean, personally, if I was him, I'd be like, make that Olympic team rise up ranks and then come back and fix up your village. But obviously, he's a little kid. He's not going to be thinking about it the same way. But because of the way that he was acting, like willing to stop, that he ended up activating his negator power of the Unstoppable. And I'm guessing just from the way that like we've gotten it now, that his power is just like a continuous thing of momentum of speed, where it just keeps picking up, and then eventually he, you know, as we've seen, reached light speed. I thought that was really sick in just the general display of how it was going. But what I didn't think about was the repercussions when he's like saying how he'll get to a point in speed where he can't stop himself normally. He just can't control it. And I really liked the combination with him and Chikara, because I didn't really consider something like that to be a... Like, I didn't consider it to be, like, part of his character. Like, oh, yeah, he's, you know, he's got this speed and he's capable of going at light speed. But, oh, he's... Like, it's something that's beyond his control. And because of that, he ends up, you know, like, running into, you know, people or things and end up destroying them. But because of Chikara, he's able to have somebody stop him with his negator power. It's just one of those powers that ends up doing well against each other. You have an unstoppable force and I guess not like an immovable object, a guy who can make an immovable object pretty much, just to add that extra, just like extra little bit over to it. So right now with that, I would definitely hype up hoping that this is all going to end up like being like a solid win for them, like defeating Creed. Creed is neat, but like Creed is like the most, he's like the least interesting out of like the you know, the whole undergroup bad guy organization. Like his powers is neat to look at, cool, but it's not that exciting. It's only really going to be effective against certain people. The bit at the end actually when Andy went and like put up to give To give Top a high five at light speed was pretty funny, because it's like, yeah, you couldn't do that with most characters, because the second that he smacks hands with another dude, unless his durability is crazy or whatnot, that hand is coming off. But it's like, oh well, Andy's an undead, so he can have his hand completely blown apart and just regenerate. So thumbs up to that. But Top's backstory, I think, was definitely one of the best ones we've had so far in the series. Like, a really good move from the creator. It's not as good as like Shen's, but I would say definitely like it's up there enough that I can really appreciate the character more, really understand like what he's where he's coming from, what exactly he was moving from, and where his where what pretty much put him to where he's at now. And everything from that, at least from what I can see, is looking pretty good. Like, the results are solid. Like, right now, I want to see some of the other characters, because I've enjoyed the backstories of a lot of the Undead Unluck cast, and we haven't got to that Samurai Shogun guy yet. I don't know if he's even going to do anything. We still have that one little kid with the robot arms, the scientist guy. We got a couple people still in the wings waiting to have their moments. But I'm guessing we're going to get a lot coming up. But I would say that Creed is done. I'd be really surprised if they're still fighting Creed, because they didn't really do anything to take him down, like kill him. They just decided to make it so he can't fight back, take away his weapons, and then defeat him that way. I would assume that's still fine, because like they're not going to. Neither of these characters seem like killers. Like, neither of them really seem too into destroying them. One thing I will say is, like, after taking out Creed's guns and whatnot, like, what's going to stop him from just beating these two up? Because Chikara is definitely really damaged. Top, I would assume after this he's going to be exhausted. Maybe he'll still be fine. He'll be able to keep doing stuff. And he'll be able to defeat Creed just from, like, high-speed attacks. But outside of that, like, they have his weapons destroyed. So it's just going to come down to, like, can this guy pretty much fight back or do anything at this point forward? Maybe he's got like another gun up his sleeve, another weapon that he could use, but either way, I think he's done. Definitely after like a character moment like this, I'd be really surprised if his fight was really going to continue beyond that. Anyway, other than that though, solid set of chapters. They're actually pretty fast to read. I wonder if like that was more the intention with the whole unstoppable focus on it, the things with Top. But regardless of which, it was pretty hype, and I'm still so curious as to how long the series can go, because like we got this guy's backstory, but it was only, we're 78 chapters in, I believe. So, a year and a half or so into the series, and we get to this guy, and there's still a bunch of people we haven't got to left, as well as we don't know anything about like follow-up characters things. I do like the combination between unstoppable and unmoved, though. I think that's really cool. Though I wonder if like can his negator power like eventually move into like, instead of being unmovable, and then you can have unmovable force and unstoppable object, unless those are just two completely separate things. Either way, comment below, thumbs up the video, but friend, like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But in that, I appreciate you already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.